In this video, we will talk about Python list comprehension. So what is list comprehension? Basically, it is a shorter syntax to create list based on some values and some conditions. Okay, let me explain you this with the help of an example. Let's say I have a list numbers. Okay, this list contains numbers from 1 to, let's say, 20. Okay, so I'm manually writing numbers from 1 to 20. This is the list of numbers from 1 to 20. And now I want to create another list from this list only that contains only even numbers from this list. Okay, so how can I create another list? Like, let's say I am creating even numbers, another list. Okay, so initially I have to define it like this. Okay, an empty list. Then what can I do is I can iterate through the numbers list. Let's say for number in numbers. Okay, I'm iterating through this list numbers, and then what I'm doing is I am appending according to the condition of even numbers. If number modulus 2 equals to 0, that means if it is an even number, then what it does, it append that number in even numbers list. Okay, I'm using the append list method and then number. Okay, now let us check the value of numbers and even numbers. Okay, so even numbers list will only contain the items from this list that are even. Okay, let me just run this one. So you see, first list contains all of the numbers from 1 to 20, but the second list only contains even numbers from the original list. Okay, so you see how much code we have to write to create a new list that only contains even numbers, right, from the original list. You can reduce this code with the help of list comprehension. Let's see how. So I'm creating even numbers list. Now I'm using list comprehension. So this is the syntax of list comprehension. I have to use square brackets. Okay, and then I'm writing x, let's say x for, so I'm writing here x for x. Okay, now you just have to specify here whatever you want in list. Let's say x. So I'll explain you the syntax later on. Let me just first write it. Okay, x for x in numbers. This is the list from which I want to pick up the values. If, here I'm writing the condition, if x modulus 2 equal to 0. Okay, now let me just print the result. So you see, it also prints the same result. This is exactly the copy of what code we have written earlier using for loop. Okay, so here we are telling the compiler, okay, to write x in the list for x in numbers if this condition is satisfied. Let me just explain you the syntax in an easy way. So this is the expression, okay, that we want to put in the resultant list, that is even number in the case, and then for loop, and then for, so here whatever the variable you have chosen for iteration, like I have used x, I can use any variable here, right, iteration variable you can say, and then the iterable object, which is list in our case numbers, and then the condition. So this is the syntax: expression, for loop, and then the iteration variable, then the iterable from which we want to pick up the values, and then the condition. Okay, you can also avoid the condition. If you do not want to write the condition, you can just skip it. Okay, now let's say I want to multiply the even numbers with itself. Okay, x into x. Now it will contain the square of all of the even numbers from this list. Okay, let me just print it. You see, it contains 4, 16, 36, and similarly I can write any expression. I can write cube as well. So you see, it contains cube of the even numbers from this list. Okay, I can also avoid making use of condition. I'm just removing this condition, and see, it will give you the cube of all of the numbers: 1, 1, 2, 8, 327, 464. So this way it makes your work easy. Let me give you another example. Let's say I have names Aman, Gurmeet, and Daman. Now I want to create a new list with all of these names in capital letters. So names, let's say capital, equals to list comprehension syntax, name dot, let's say upper. Okay, this is the upper method. Name, here we have to write the expression for the items in the resultant list, that is names capital. So name dot upper for name in list names. That's it. That's the syntax. Let me run this one. Okay, I also have to print names capital. So you see, it has created a new list with all of the original names in capital letters. Similarly, I can perform any other operations. I can also, print here. I can write f string. Let me write f string to make it a little bit complex. And then here I'm also writing the length of the names. Okay, how can I write the length of the names? len function of name. Okay, let me run this one. So you see, new list contains strings like this format: Aman, then the length, Gurmeet, then the length, then the Aman, the length. Okay, so this way you can make use of comprehensions to create any kind of list. So here I have added the condition if the name ends with the letter an. So you see, an in Aman and Daman. So the new list will only contain Aman and Daman in capital with their name length. Okay, you see, Aman and Daman. Gurmeet is removed because EET is the ending here, right? Not an. So that's how you can make use of list comprehensions to create or generate new lists.